Dandavat Pranam. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Can everyone hear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Just a moment. It's already late. I'll just recite the prayers first. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamam vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Isharam So reading from Canto 3, chapter number 29, text number is that 13, yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Salokya Shastri Samipya. Salokya Shastri Samipya. Sarupyaikatvam Apyuta. Sarupyaikatvam Apyuta. Diyamanam na grinanti. Diyamanam na grinanti. Vinamatsevanam jana. Vinamatsevanam jana. Salokya Shastri Samipya. Salokya Shastri Samipya. Sarupyaikatvam Apyuta. Sarupyaikatvam Apyuta. Diyamanam na grinanti. Diyamanam na grinanti. Vinamatsevanam jana. Vinamatsevanam jana. Salokya Shastri Samipya. Salokya Shastri Samipya. Sarupyaikatvam Apyuta. Sarupyaikatvam Apyuta. Diyamanam na grinanti. Diyamanam na grinanti. Vinamatsevanam jana. Vinamatsevanam jana. Yes. This is actually an amazing verse. Amazing verse. Salokya. Salokya. Living on the same planet. Living on the same planet. Sarshti. Having the same opulence. Samipya. To be a personal associate. Sarupya. Having the same bodily features. Ekvatvam. Oneness. Api. Also. Uta. Even. Diyamanam. Being offered. Na. Not. Grinanti. Do accept. Vina. Without. Mat. My. Sevanam. Devotional service. Jana. Pure devotees. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktam Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, salokya, sashti, samipya, sarupya, or ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Chaitanya teaches us how to execute pure devotional service, out of spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Shikshashtaka, he prays to the Lord, "O Lord, I do not wish to gain from you any wealth, nor do I wish to have a beautiful wife, nor do I wish to have many followers. All I want from you is that in life after life, I may remain a pure devotee at your lotus feet." There is a similarity between the prayers of Lord Chaitanya and the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya prays in life after life, indicating that a devotee does not even desire the cessation of birth and death. The yogis and empiric philosophers desire cessation of the process of birth and death, but a devotee is satisfied even to remain in this material world and execute devotional service. It is clearly stated herein that a pure devotee does not desire ekvatva, oneness with the Supreme Lord, as desired by the impersonalists, the mental speculators, and the meditators. To become one with the Supreme Lord is beyond the dream of a pure devotee. To become one with the Supreme Lord is beyond the dream of a pure devotee. Sometimes he may accept promotion to the Vaikuntha planets to serve the Lord there, but he will never accept merging into the Brahman effulgence, which he considers worse than hellish. Such ekatva, or merging into the effulgence of the Supreme Lord, is called kaivalya, but the happiness derived from kaivalya is considered by the pure devotee to be hellish. This devotee is so fond of rendering service to the Supreme Lord that the 5 kinds of liberation are not important to him. If one is engaged in pure transcendental loving service to the Lord, it is understood that he has already achieved the 5 kinds of liberation. When a devotee is promoted to the spiritual world Vaikuntha, he receives 4 kinds of facilities. One of these is Salokya, living on the same planet as the Supreme Personality. The Supreme Person, in his different planetary expansions, lives on innumerable Vaikuntha planets, and the chief planet is Krishna Loka. Just as within the material universe, the chief planet is the sun. In the spiritual world, the chief planet is Krishna Loka. From Krishna Loka, the bodily effulgence of Lord Krishna is distributed not only to the spiritual world but to the material world as well. It is covered by matter. However, in the material world, sorry, I'm mixing up. It is covered by matter. However, in the material world, the bodily effulgence of from Krishna Loka, the bodily effulgence of Lord Krishna is distributed not only to the spiritual world but to the material world as well. It is covered by matter, however, in the material world. So bodily effulgence of Krishna is covered by matter in the material world. In the spiritual world, there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets, and on each one, the Lord is the predominating deity. A devotee can be promoted to one such Vaikuntha planet to live with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Sashti liberation, the opulence of the devotee is equal to the opulence of the Supreme Lord. Samipya means to be a personal associate of the Supreme Lord. In Sarupya liberation, the bodily features of the devotee are exactly like those of the Supreme Person. But for two or three symptoms found exclusively on the transcendental body of the Lord. Srivatsa, for example, the hair on the chest of the Lord, particularly distinguishes him from his devotees. A pure devotee does not accept these 5 kinds of spiritual existence, even if they are offered. And he certainly does not hanker after material benefits, which are all insignificant in comparison with spiritual benefits. When Prahlad Maharaj was offered some material benefit, he stated, "My Lord, I have seen that my father achieved all kinds of material benefits, and even the demigods were afraid of his opulence, but still, in a second, you have finished his life and all his material prosperity." For a devotee, there is no question of desiring any material or spiritual prosperity. He simply aspires to serve the Lord. That is his highest happiness. Again, my spiritual master, I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So, before speaking, I would like to say that His Grace Gulshap was mentioning that it's very easy to give a good class. It's very easy because what happens is when you speak on Vyasas, and then by the mercy of devotees who are hearing, because of their divinity, Krishna becomes merciful. So that's nothing to do with me. Even if whatever class I give, it doesn't matter. But the thing is that my humble request is to all the devotees for their prayers and blessings. I'm a very, very lazy person. I have no desire to practice devotional service. Actually, I can see, and I need the mercy of all the devotees, including primarily His Grace Yuval Kishore Prabhu. And the goal of this class is to please him, because he knows what to speak. He knows how to perfectly nurture this community with his spiritual advancement. So I hope that this is a humble offering to his lotus feet. I'm many times I think to myself, this example recently is Holy Saladar Maharaj was speaking, and it struck me so deeply in my heart that just like he said, a dog. So a dog, sometimes in this world, like the dog, the master likes the dog very much. So the master will put the dog in the car, drive the dog around, maybe even, put him on a singhasan or, whatever. But the dog knows I am dog. And the dog knows that the master can kick me out at any time. So Maharaj was mentioning that this should be our consciousness, that we should externally, we can be whatever, but internally we should maintain that kind of position. Because he said that he mentioned that some really touched my heart, that like, yes, it is true that what is the qualification? What is the qualification to do anything practically? Like if we just start counting the offenses and the aparads that we make in any service, that number of times the mind, is thinking, oh, how to impress others with my class, with my kirtan, with my japa, even with my everything. Like the mind is so expert, and it's like all pervading. So on top of actually one, sometimes I was thinking that, yeah, actually people who are non-devotees, they're much better than me, because non-devotees, at least non-devotees, like you see some person who comes to the temple who is not a devotee. um Suppose he say, oh, I ate meat today, I ate fish today, so I don't want to come to the temple. So a person accepts his fallen condition. But myself, I am so I have such a strong ego, and I try to impress others even though I'm very fallen. So anyhow, so this verse it's a topmost verse, and that's why the first line itself in Prabhupada's purport is loaded. Prabhupada says, Lord Chaitanya teaches us how to execute pure devotional service out of spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the first line. That itself is like an explosive statement. So this consciousness that I don't want anything. Diyamanam na grinanti bina mat sevanam jana. I don't want anything except to serve the Lord. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also expresses this statement that मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तोहार जो इच्छा तोहार नित्य दास तुई sorry नित्य दास prati tuva adhikar. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that whether Krishna, you want to kill me or you want to protect me, it's up to you. But my position is that Kita Janama means I just want to take birth, even as an insect, I want to take birth in the home of your devotee. So this is an extreme service mode, like which is Bhaktivinoda Thakur is speaking out of his love for the Supreme Lord. They are speaking the Lord Chaitanya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada. Even when Prabhupada is speaking, when he came on the Jaladuta, Prabhupada, the day when he arrived in America was yesterday. It's a very auspicious day. That's why this land is very blessed. And that's why we're able to practice devotional service here, because Srila Prabhupada purified America by his lotus feet. So Prabhupada also prayed that, my Lord, you can do whatever you like with me. I am just a puppet in your hands. So this is Prabhupada is speaking out of pure love, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why you can see that Srila Prabhupada is, whenever he speaks, you can see constantly Prabhupada's eyes are constantly watering with tears. It's not that Prabhupada cries for some time out of love for Krishna, then he comes back. No, he's always in that mood, in that deep mood of separation from the Supreme Lord. And that's why just by watching Srila Prabhupada's videos, by seeing Prabhupada's activities, we can understand how Prabhupada is constantly practicing what he's preaching. Shri Shri Radha Gopijana Valabhta Padwan Varjat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So he's constantly practicing what he's preaching. And this verse, Shikshashtakam, Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktirahe tuki tvai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this is a prayer, this is the state of consciousness of someone who's a platform of ruchi. Someone who's a platform of ruchi. Ruchi is a very high stage. Actually, ruchi is the beginning of Uttam Adhikar. So that's why Prabhupada says that one should take initiation from an Uttam Adhikari, and the beginning of Uttam Adhikari is Ruchi. So this is a stage of Ruchi. Ruchi is a stage when the pastimes of the Lord constantly flow in one's mind. Like His Grace Kishore Prabhu was quoting Urmila Mataji that she said as soon as she starts chanting, immediately the pastimes of Krishna start playing in her mind. So someone who's in the platform of Ruchi, they always experience taste in devotional practices. So they're always relishing and you can say always addicted. Like so Prabhupada quoted that or someone asked Prabhupada that Prabhupada, devotional service is some work and some fun. Prabhupada said, no, devotional service is only fun, fun, and fun. So that's a platform of Ruchi. And that famous verse is also there that Dharma Swanstita Pumsha Vishvaksena Katasuya Notpadede Yatirati Shrama Evahi Kevalam. So without developing Ruchi, without developing taste, everything is ultimately useless. So and then the following line in this first paragraph, Prabhupada is saying how Lord Chaitanya is praying life after life, life after life. So how can we understand? This is a very high statement. This prayers like even the gopis are praying that we are willing to go to hell eternally for Krishna's happiness. How can we understand? We can try to understand this by the mercy of our previous acharyas. So when we pray to our previous acharyas, including our spiritual master, and we have a deep desire in our heart to experience their devotional sentiments. Actually, nothing in this world belongs to us. Nothing belongs to us. When you go to some university program, like Krishna arranges who will come. Krishna arranges who will hear. Krishna arranges what they will feel. Krishna arranges what will be the inspiration, and Krishna arranges what they will practice. So Krishna is doing everything. The inspiration is coming from Krishna at every moment, but we're just a puppet, that's it. But our only property, our only wealth is our service to Krishna, our service to the Guru Parampara. So our previous acharyas, they're very, very merciful that they've written so many wonderful bhajans, prayers to the Lord. And when we especially hear our spiritual master, especially our spiritual master. Why I'm stressing spiritual master? Because spiritual master has been sent by Krishna to us to nurture our devotional service. Just like there's a difference between a father and uncle in this world. The father will only give what is good for the child, but the uncle may do something to please the child. So a spiritual master is specifically sent by Krishna to nurture our devotional service. And that's why, yes, it is true that other pure devotees are also equally powerful and equally instruments of Krishna's direction in our life. But it is very important to hear the spiritual master and especially hear the bhajans, the Vaishnava bhajans sung by the spiritual master. And if you hear the bhajans sung by a spiritual master, meditating on the meaning, this is very important. Many times we hear, we don't meditate on the meaning. When we meditate on the meaning, we can have an experience of their feeling. Their feeling is what will be very inspiring to us. When we become touched by their feeling, that inspires us to take shelter of the Lord. That inspires us to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So that's how we can get a glimpse of what they're experiencing. Because all our spiritual masters, all pure devotees of the Lord, they especially in this movement, Lord Chaitanya's movement, they are going through a lot of trouble to bring conditioned souls. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I mean, we smile. Like one time, my spiritual master said, today we'll be having initiation. All the devotees said, Haribol. Maharaj said, not for me. So Maharaj said, no, it's not Haribol for me. So they go through a lot of pain. I mean, what to speak of spiritual masters? even our Shiksha Gurus, they go through a lot of pain to actually bring to bring new people to the movement. It takes a lot of endeavor. But why they're doing it? Because they have this mood that they are just inspired. They just want um, to serve Srila Prabhupada. And by serving Prabhupada, they get so much joy in their heart. And that's what inspires them to go the extra mile and spread this movement, spread this movement. So, second paragraph, it is stated that a pure devotee does not desire ekatva with the Supreme Lord. So, why does a pure devotee not desire ekatva? Because Prabhupada says that there are three things: Bhakta, Bhagavan, and Bhakti. So, unless Bhakta and Bhagavan are separate, there's no question of loving exchange. So, the goal of our Krishna conscious movement can be achieved today, right now. Actually, I really liked one point mentioned by Brajbihari Prabhu. His Grace Brajbihari Prabhu is coming here next week. He said that there are two things. One thing is that yes, we have to achieve the goal of Krishna Prema. We have to achieve the goal of Krishna consciousness. But at the same time, we should, when we come to Krishna consciousness, in one sense, we've already achieved the perfection. We've already achieved the perfection in the sense that this is what we are going to do eternally. The service may change, the body may change, the place may change, but the principle is the same. Maybe in the future we may not be serving in this material world. If Krishna desires, we may be serving the spiritual world, but the principle of service is the same, and that is the essence. So it is very important for us to take shelter. Shelter is the most important principle of Krishna consciousness, Sharanagati, and that's our only hope. That's what Guru is coming to teach, how to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So this shelter will come, this mood of shelter will come in our heart the more and more we offer prayer. Generally, it is mentioned that Diksha Guru is primarily responsible for destroying the anarthas within the heart. Our Goswamis say that Diksha Guru has a special position because Diksha Guru primarily, through his Vani, he destroys the anarthas within the heart. And as soon as we hear Diksha Guru speaking, then what happens is that we experience auspiciousness in our heart. That auspiciousness is compared to the dust emanating from the quality of the dust emanating from the lotus feet of the Lord. So in that, what we feel is we feel safe, we feel sheltered, we feel actually fearless in that situation. Like something like the mother is holding the child, like that we feel sheltered, we feel confident. So when we give our heart, we give our mind to the mission of Srila Prabhupada through our authorities, then what happens is we experience this deep desire to take shelter. The more and more we meditate on the practices of devotional service, this is my personal experience, that if we don't offer prayer to Krishna, if we don't take shelter of Krishna, and we don't understand that we need Krishna's mercy at every step in our life, then what happens is that either we go into mode of passion, we have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, it's too much, or we become lazy. Either of these things. But then when we continuously try to engage in service to the Lord, but constantly praying, like that's all we need to do. All we need to do is we need to offer prayer. That's all. Offering prayer is the key to spiritual success. Whenever we experience any thought in our mind, we are finding difficulty to chant the holy name, we just have to take shelter of Guru, and especially Gaur Nitai. Because Gaur Nitai, Karuna Avatar, they are mercy incarnation of the Lord. They are made of mercy, just like it is explained that uh, the ornaments and the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord and his consort is made of ecstatic love. In the same way, the form of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda are made of mercy, are made of mercy. So they are very, very extraordinarily merciful. Uh, Adbhuta Karunya. Their Karunya, their mercy is inconceivable. So we have to keep offering prayer constantly for two reasons. First reason, when we offer prayer, then we're expressing our feelings. They may or may not be genuine, that's okay. But when we express our feelings through the words of the previous acharyas, so as soon as we express our feeling through the word of previous acharyas, Krishna takes that prayer, Guru takes that prayer seriously. And second thing, when we offer prayer, definitely one thing we will realize when we offer prayer, feelingly or not feelingly, is we'll realize when we do this as a practice that we, without the help of higher power, we are hopeless. We have no hope actually. We have no hope. So the more and more we engage in this habit of offering prayer, the more and more we develop the humble mood. See, the humble mood is essential to take shelter. If we are always in the mood of shelter, then there's a less chance that pride will attack. And if pride does not attack, then definitely we'll get causeless mercy. If we get causeless mercy, definitely we'll make progress in bhakti for sure. Whether we are conscious or not, we will definitely make progress. Pride is the greatest impediment in a devotee's life. So that pride can only be overcome by taking shelter, by understanding this principle of service. So first step is to, I mean, they're both interrelated, but here first step is taking shelter, offering prayer, developing humble mood, and next stage is to render service. Because when you render service with that humble mood, then that service attracts the attention of Krishna. That service becomes inspired with gratitude. We all know the famous pastime of Maharaj Pratap. Maharaj Prataparudra's position, Chaitanya Charitamrita, is very, very special because number one, his position as a king did not allow him to meet Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya's in reaction to him initially was he was completely not interested in meeting him. But even though he was in an unfavorable situation, unfavorable position, and even though there were so many impediments, because Lord Chaitanya is setting the example of a ideal sannyasi, but still, because Maharaj Prataparudra, he took shelter. At every step he took, whenever he found difficulty, he always took shelter. So he took shelter of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And as a result of taking shelter of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, what happened? The result of taking shelter, the result of offering prayer is the desire to render service. So he, in his heart, the desire came to render service. So he rendered service. And ultimately he rendered service. The ultimate service he rendered was he uh, told Ramananda Roy that I will not only give you relief from your service, but I will give you full pension, full salary, continuously. I'll give you full pension. You don't have to worry. And not only what he did, but how he did, how he said. He was so inspired that melted the heart of Ramananda Roy. And when Mahaprabhu heard this from Ramananda Roy, Mahaprabhu said, yes, if someone is very dear to you, then definitely Krishna will bestow his mercy upon him. So the result of taking shelter was that ability to render service with such gratitude. He was so grateful. He was so grateful to Ramananda Roy that he was able to do that for him. Same principle, Mukunda, when Lord Chaitanya told Mukunda that I will see you after 100 lifetimes, Mukunda was in ecstasy. Why? Because he took shelter of Lord Chaitanya, he took shelter of the devotees, and as a result of that, his heart was erupting with gratitude. And any service which is rendered with gratitude, we're just happy to serve, is how Ranad Maharaj explained. When we're just so grateful, we treasure this opportunity to serve, and we don't want to be anywhere else doing anything else, but we're just so happy to render service. Then that consciousness is very attractive to Krishna, very attractive to Krishna. And as a result of that consciousness, what is the fruit of that consciousness? What is the fruit of service? The fruit of rendering service pleasing Krishna is the opportunity to interact with, to get blessings from great souls. That is the greatest treasure in this Krishna conscious movement, is to interact with great souls and to have the eyes to see them, to see their greatness. Because the more we get the vision to see the greatness, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito, the more our eyes are smeared with, our heart is smeared with Vaishnav qualities, then the result of that is we become very, very appreciative. And that appreciation becomes so intense that we become inspired instantly by that person and we get the qualities of that person. So that's why it says that Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Hoy, Lava Matur Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. So when we become inspired and very appreciative and very grateful, then we receive the fruit of Sadhu Sangha, the inspiration to perform devotional service. So this is a very wonderful pastime, Maharaj Pratap. We can study it millions of times, hundreds of times. There's no end to it. But because Maharaj Prataprata was constantly rendering service, offering prayer to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, therefore Lord Chaitanya did something that is unheard of. Lord Chaitanya not only gave him the complete uh, empowerment to understand the deepest topics of Krishna consciousness, inspired him to sing, allowed him, inspired him to sing Gopi Gita. You can think about it, like Lord Chaitanya was so strict. He did not discuss these topics with anyone, but he allowed Maharaj Prataparudra to sing it. And after singing, Lord Chaitanya jumped up and embraced him, and Lord Chaitanya said that you are that person. You are the most munificent person because you are giving me the nectar of Krishna. And when you please Lord Chaitanya, what happens? Then you please the whole world. So this is a very, very special pastime, and it's a very hope-giving pastime that in any position, if we simply become very grateful and very humble and in a prayerful mood, then the result of that is we get the most amazing mercy, the most amazing mercy. So the only thing that we want to desire is to serve. Like Prabhupada said so many times, we don't want to enjoy Krishna. We want to serve Krishna. We want to serve Krishna in such a way that he becomes happy to see us. He looks forward to seeing us. That famous bhajan is there. That Narottame Korodoya Apanara Boli. Apanara Boli. So this is practical. Like His Grace Yogesh Prabhu was telling one time that Pankajangri Prabhu had a dream where Radha Madhav told him that Janivas Prabhu is my associate. I will take care of him, no problem. So that means Radha Madhav have made Janivas Prabhu, or in this context, their associate. So once they become attracted, once they become pleased, then they will take care of us. Guru will take care of us. Guru will make all arrangement for us when Guru will make us his own. And what is the qualification? This is a qualification uh, to render service with a humble mood, taking shelter and with great gratitude in our heart. Great gratitude in our heart. Same principle, the principle of service can be seen in Krishna's pastimes also. Krishna's pastimes has, his Sripad Anupro explains, Krishna's pastimes has that amazing quality where both Vipralamba and Sambhog are together. Both are there. So one may ask that, oh, when Krishna is with Mother Yashoda, where is the question of Vipralamba? Where is separation? Separation is in service, is in service. The principle of service. Like Mother Yashoda, our acharyas give this commentary, Mother Yashoda left Krishna to take care of the milk on the stove. And one may ask that why Mother Yashoda had to do this? Why? Because isn't Krishna more important? But the principle is service. So our acharyas explain that if there is a decision, if there's a choice between being in Krishna's association and rendering service is higher. Because that service under the direction of the authorities, it will definitely please Krishna. Will definitely please Krishna. You see, many times Krishna has fun with so many people. Even Krishna had fun with Brahma, had fun with Indra. Krishna had fun with even demons. Like you see, whenever Krishna is killing a demon, Krishna is smiling. Krishna feels, sometimes even Shastra explains that Krishna feels happy. But if we want to actually please Krishna, then we have to take up the service. And the service to the Lord has to be rendered under the direction of the previous acharyas, under the direction of the authorities. It's very, very important. The more and more we remind ourselves of this principle, the more and more we become empowered in our spiritual life. What is the empowerment in spiritual life? What is the goal? The goal of spiritual life is, as Lord Chaitanya explained, is to attain this consciousness, to not take shelter of any pleasure in this world, whether it's food. I mean, I'm not there, but in quoting from own purification, any sensual pleasure or any ego pleasure, but simply take pleasure in remembering the pastimes of the Lord. So this is something that has to be given to us. It is not something, it is not our property. Something that is very inspiring to me and always helps me to become serious is to remember that going back to Golok Vrindavan is not a destined thing. Bhakti is not by destiny. It is ultimately based on how much we have developed our attraction to Krishna. So unless we make the extensive endeavor, we will not get the mercy. Yes, mercy is what we are dependent on, but we have to make the endeavor. We have to make the endeavor. We are doing something that no Hindu, no common person in this world is trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve something. Our life is different. So unless we follow the principle, we will not achieve it. We will not achieve it. So we have to follow the principle, and the principle is the mood. This mood of service. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if we don't chant the holy name with the mood of service, then Krishna will not reveal. He even goes to this extent. He says that if we don't chant in the mood of service, then it is just mundane sound vibration. But when it's inspired with the desire, the mood to serve, then it actually Krishna manifests. And see, this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mood. Everywhere Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mood is service, 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 service. And that's why the translation that Srila Prabhupada gave to us was, oh my dear Lord, and internal energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. So you can see how Prabhupada perfectly captured the mood of Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur. So anyhow, this mood of service is seen in many wonderful pastimes are there. This mood of humble menial service. How humble menial service can make the impossible into possible. Narottam Das Thakur, Lokanath Goswami didn't want to accept any disciple. He was so strict. And these pure devotees, like it is said, pure devotees of the Lord, they control the Lord. So their desire, normally any person's desire in this world, if it's Krishna has control over their desire. But for a pure devotee, of course, a pure devotee desires what Krishna desires, but the pure devotee has power even to go against Krishna's desire. Like, for example, in the pastimes of the Lord, we can see that, of course, we understand everything is orchestrated by Yoga Maya, but the best example is Srila Prabhupada. I gave that example that Prabhupada, one Prabhupada was very sick one time. Krishna appeared to him. Krishna said, "Come back." Prabhupada said, "No, sorry, I can't come back." Why? Because my mission is still young. I need to take care of them. And Krishna was not very happy with that, but Prabhupada's desire. So pure devotee has that. Pure devotee has that leverage. But even though a pure devotee has that leverage, even though is all true, but ultimately, when we become very inspired to render service to a pure devotee, to render service to exalted devotees, that's where our perfection lies. So like I said, so many pastimes are there. The famous pastime is there of how, yes, coming back to, sorry, I got distracted, Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur, Lokanath Goswami was completely against accepting as disciple. But because of his menial humble service, he was cleaning his stool every day. Lokanath Goswami's heart melted. And how it melted also, I explained that Radharani appeared to him in a dream and said, "Why are you so hard-hearted?" So that's the power of rendering menial service. Shyamananda Pandit, he was rendering, Dukhi Krishna Das, he was sweeping Seva Kunj, and he was doing this for decades. And Radharani became so attracted to him. Why? Because his service, Sri Radharani explains this, his service was rendered with such a grateful heart. He was so blissed, he was so happy to render that service. So they were so pleased. The divine couple was so pleased. All our proper disciples are, famous is how much they're attached to service. Recently, I was hearing that His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj was there in Ujjain. So there in Deland. So after there was a festival, they had a festival, and after the festival, the next day, Chandramauli Maharaj said that I want to clean the temple room. Why they have this kind of service? Also, all proper disciples, it doesn't matter whether sannyasi, they have they relish service like anything. Why? Because they consider they consider the whole ISKCON their own. They have this mamatva, this mindness, this is my temple, this is my ISKCON. So therefore, this service attitude spontaneously flows from their heart. They take such great pleasure in the smallest service. They become so ecstatic. Wow, you're doing pot washing. Wow, they become so inspired when they see normal person, they become so inspired because they have such a service mood. Why they have this service mood? Because they completely surrender to Prabhupada. They completely, if you even surrender completely to an authority, to a temple, as a full time or whatever, for some time you experience that taste in dependence, and the taste of dependence, the taste of taking shelter, becomes reflected in the desire to serve. So more and more we become attracted to service, the more and more we can feel inspired and blissful in Krishna consciousness. Because ultimately, Janme Janme Prabhu say, life after life, we have to engage in service. And ultimately, we have no control over when we'll go back to the spiritual world. We have no control over when we'll become free from anarthas. We have no control. It has to be given by Krishna. But what is very important is we have to become attracted, inspired, and we have to program ourselves to be service oriented more and more and more. Uh, because that's the only way we'll become happy in Krishna consciousness. That's the happiness that is never ending, which is unlimited, which is not limited by time, place, and circumstance. Service, there is no limitation. Like you may not get to eat your favorite food stuff. It may not happen, may or may not happen. But services, serving prasad is always there, right? You may or may not get always to lead kirtan, but you can always assist in kirtan. So service opportunities everywhere. So the more and more we learn to take shelter of this service mode, the more and more we can be happy, we can be self-motivated. We don't need any other motivation in Krishna consciousness. More and more we have this service mode. And ultimately, our goal is to completely relinquish our independence. The more and more we relinquish our independence, we more and more become dependent. The more and more become more and more intimate to our Guru Varga. And that's what we want. If we can become intimate to them, our life is done. Our life is set. We don't have to worry about anything. So the only reason why a devotee wants to go back to Godhead, Lanad Maharaj explains, pure devotees explains, is so that he can transcend the problems of the body, he transcend the limitation of the material world. That's the only reason. Otherwise, a pure devotee who has achieved love of God, he is fully satisfied in serving this material world. He's fully satisfied. He's fully satisfied. So if we want to go back to Godhead, it's like kind of a interesting thing. If we want to go back to Godhead, then we have to develop the mood of being satisfied, being inspired to serve. And the same service that we're doing now, whatever service, a stage has to come when we really relish that service. We really relish paying obeisances. We relish hearing devotees. We relish serving devotees. Basically, we experience the, speaking for myself, I'm not qualified, but the ecstasy of being insignificant. We have to aspire for that. Otherwise, it's impossible to go back to the spiritual world. And since this Prabhupada's appearance yesterday, so Prabhupada constantly had this service mode. Prabhupada would go take the Back to God in magazines. He would sell what, I mean, he would distribute. What was his happiness? I am serving my Guru. I am serving my Guru. I am serving my Guru. That's it. Otherwise, what is the happiness? Prabhupada continued this for so many years. Why Prabhupada continued? Because Prabhupada had this service. Prabhupada has experienced so much happiness in this service mode. Until Prabhupada, became founder Acharya, all these things, Prabhupada was fully satisfied in endeavoring. That is the thing. Fully satisfied in our endeavor to please Krishna. So more and more we become satisfied in our endeavor to please Krishna. The more and more we make progress. And of course, results are there. Practical things are there. But the mood is also there. The mood is also there. The most important quality that in Krishna consciousness is actually renunciation. So one of the most important qualities, and not renunciation based on neglecting things, but renouncing the fruits, renouncing the ego, but only keeping one desire to serve, So the more and more we have desire to serve, the more and more we come closer to what we actually are. And that's what we learn from Srila Prabhupada, that his whole life was dedicated to service. We may only say that, oh, he was successful at the end, but actually he was successful the whole life. Why? Because whole life, every day he was trying to please Krishna. Every day, in his own humble way, he would try to please Krishna, constantly trying to serve the order of his spiritual master. So that is the thing. So see, we may or may not be successful externally, but if we simply try to please Krishna, try to please our authorities, then our life is successful. Our life is 100% successful, and we definitely will get the causeless mercy of Krishna. We've seen this time again and again and again. Devotees who render humble menial service, they've gone back to Godhead. How many examples in a movement? So many examples. Kulangana Mataji, just this last thing. Kulangana Mataji, my spiritual master, was speaking to her last days. What was the service? She was simply making sandesh, different kind of sandesh for Radha Gokulananda. And of course, it is world famous. It's wonderful, but it's a simple service. Nobody knew her. She's not a big preacher. Nothing. Last day, my spiritual master said that, oh, so you're seeing Krishna? You're seeing Radharani? She said, yes, Maharaj, I'm seeing her, so attractive. So this is time and again. How many devotees we have seen? How many devotees? Prabhupada's generation, our generation. So yeah, that is the power. That is the power of this humble menial service, trying to please authority. It's very, very powerful principle. Okay, I would like to end here. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong or inappropriate. Anyone has any question or comment? There is a comment.
Hare Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances on Lord Prabhupada. Prabhu, I had a question. Now, when we talk about humility, right, when we say we have to do it in a humble state of mind, this is my understanding. I want to make sure, correct my understanding, and I wanted to see if that is the right way to process it. The one thing of understanding is, okay, I don't have these qualities, or I am not qualified for this service. I'm a rascal number one and all. Above that, I'm thinking is like the next thing is, yes, whatever service is there is only because of the mercy that this service is coming. So just being only grateful for that service or grateful for those qualities, or because sometimes I'm just thinking, like in the process of humility, sometimes we beat ourselves up and we miss the process of gratitude. So so is that is the first level and then the second level, or they both go hand in hand?
Yeah, they both go hand in hand. So like I said, the essential thing is offering prayer. So when we hear the prayer of pure devotees, the way they offer prayer, when we hear, and as that's what I'm saying now, you have to hear the bhajans of a Vaishnava acharyas from Prabhupada or spiritual master while meditating on the meaning. So when you do that, you can see their mood emanating. So when you can see their mood, feel their mood, then you understand how to pray. So when you offer prayer in that consciousness, then what happens is, then you become grateful, because now the service is rendered from different perspective, different consciousness. So that's what I'm talking about. And then as a result of that gratitude, naturally become humble. Like you see that the service is so big or so small, so you become very grateful. So I mean, is no place where there's kind of self derogation or criticizing themselves. That's not the purpose. See, ultimately the point is this: we have to understand this, that I tell myself always, I am what I am. Anarthas are what they are. But by hook or by crook, I have to improve myself. I have to become a pure devotee. That's the service to, that is the service to our Guru Varga. So when we think like that, then yeah, we have to become positive.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, thank you. Prabhu, Gauri Jeevani Mataji posted a question in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just reading. Yeah, so the question is it good to have desire to go back to Godhead? Is the question. So yes, it's very good to desire to go back to Godhead, but how do we go back to Godhead? That's the point. So just like, for example, right, just same thing, like suppose someone wants to have desire to get into a university. Yes. But then what is a qualification, right? So yes, we want to go back to Godhead, but if we want to go back to Godhead, if we want to be sure that we go back to Godhead, the qualification is Krishna Prema. And what is Krishna Prema? Krishna Prema means love of Godhead. Love of Godhead means intense, spontaneous desire to serve the Lord. So unless you adopt this service mode, it's impossible to achieve Prema. And without achieve Prema, going back to Godhead is questionable. His Holiness Shivaram Maharaj says that, yeah, without love of Godhead, you cannot go back to Golok Vrindavan. So, yeah, so if we aspire to develop love of Godhead and we constantly look at what we need to do, then of course, there's a high chance we'll achieve the perfection. Because Prabhupada, Krishna wants us to go back to Godhead. And forget about going back to God, Krishna wants to manifest Golok Vrindavan in our heart, ASAP. Krishna wants it. So what is we are going back to God? Krishna wants to manifest Golok Vrindavan in heart as soon as possible. Our acharyas want to manifest Golok Vrindavan as soon as Prabhupada wants. Prabhupada wants us to become pure devotee as soon as possible. How many times we have heard Prabhupada saying that we should be aspiring for the day when we chant the holy name, then we'll be able to see the passing Radha and Krishna. So, yeah. So, yes, by desiring to achieve Krishna Prema, by desiring to become a pure devotee, that desire is non-different from going back to Godhead. That's the same thing. That's the same thing. There's no difference. There's no difference. Yeah.
Prabhuji, Salokya Mukti and going back to Godhead, is it same or is it different?
Yeah, Salokya means residing, serving the Lord's planet. Yeah, it means, yeah, same thing is going back to Godhead. Yeah.
Okay, but in the verse it's mentioned devotees, means for devotees it's telling. So devotees does not accept those Salokya. Instead, they would like to serve. Is it in the material world or is it in the spiritual world?
1 second, I'm just seeing the exact statement. Where does Prabhupada say that? Yeah, living on the same planet, personality, supreme person. Yeah, where does Prabhupada say no in the purport?
No, in the word itself, it is said that my devotee doesn't want all the
Yeah. So, yeah, this is actually this mood is mood of Lord Chaitanya, and this mood of Lord Chaitanya and mood of, like I say, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this mood is spoken out of pure love. You just see what happens when, I mean, I'm just trying to, please forgive me, please correct me. But when one is on that platform of Krishna Prema, then what happens is that, like, because of his prema, like Krishna Kaviraj Goswami, he says, right? I am lower than woman's stool. Is it correct? He says this? Yeah. So this humility is a consequence of his love for Krishna. And he can actually pray like that. So that is a consciousness of this verse. That pure devotee doesn't want, he the more and more he develops love for Krishna, more and more he thinks he's unqualified. Like same like Mukunda said that no, I will see, means I'm not qualified. No, I will see. Like Haridas Thakur also, I'm not qualified to go into Jagannath. I'm so sinful. So that's a result of prema. Yeah. That is the mood of the verse. Yeah.
Okay,
Like I said, my spiritual master says that initially in the neophyte stage, we desire to go back to Godhead, but eventually that desire to go back to Godhead transforms into service. So that desire to Godhead transforms into service. And what Krishna does is that Krishna knows a devotee wants to go back to the spiritual world. So Krishna manifests the spiritual world in the heart of a pure devotee, even before leaving this body. So that's what Krishna does. And yeah, of course, the desire for attaining Krishna Prem is non-different from the desire to go back to Godhead.
thank
But
you.
yeah, there is nothing, of course, it's a good desire. There's nothing wrong in praying like that. If praying like that will help us to become qualified. But at the same time, I'm just speaking about the detailed aspect of that prayer. My Lord, I want to achieve love for you. That's the more detailed aspect of the same prayer, going back to Godhead. But it's interesting that pure devotees, that, like, even though that they may have this desire, but because they experience such reciprocation, when they experience such reciprocation from Krishna, then they're happy to serve in the material world, because for them the material world is not the material world, it's a spiritual world. Actually, it's a spiritual world. So yeah, they actually see the spiritual world everywhere. So yeah, so because of that, they don't have this desire.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. I have a question, Prabhu, regarding this having desire to going back to Golok Vrindavan. So if I see entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, especially in Mahaprakash Leela, Mahaprabhu encouraged everybody to ask. But when I read that, I was wonderstruck, like, they have no desire to go anywhere except Saru.
Yeah.
And I did not remember, one of the associate asked, even they get dog birth that serves the devotees. Okay, even donkey birth, okay, carry the books to serve. So where is the question of having desire to go back?
Yeah. So the question is what?
My question is, so do we, that is Krishna will take, right? Why we need to have a desire to have a Golok Vrindavan? Because when you have a desire, so you will have like a competition. Okay, I'm doing this many rounds. Oh, I think I'm eligible to go back. I think I will. So that kind of pride, my aspiring Guru Maharaj says, Saharan Swami Maharaj, so many times, having spiritual desire also big pride, which is I'm chanting this many rounds, I'm doing this service, I'm doing that. That is also big pride.
Yeah, the highest thing is, the best thing is just to surrender to the desire of the spiritual master. Whatever Guru wants, I'll go. I'll do. If Guru wants me to go, I'll go. Otherwise, I won't go. But simple. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best thing. Yeah.
Because same thing you told, right? Who's that? Mukunda Sanjay. After million births also, I will wait for Mahaprabhu mercy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what the ultimate thing, the best desire to have is, I'll just surrender to the desire of my spiritual master, whatever he decides for me, whether he wants me to stay, or he wants me to go back to God, it's up to him. But yeah, this desire to have Krishna Prema, yeah, that is bona fide desire. That is a bona fide desire, because it enhances our service to Krishna. So yeah, that's very important. Yeah. So then our purity and our Krishna will enjoy our service more. So here, desire to develop love of Godhead is not about ourselves, but it's about Krishna. Because if we develop love of Godhead, Krishna will enjoy our service more. That is a mood.
yeah, because we can think about ourselves. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm eligible to go back. But who are we to decide, first of all?
Yeah.
Because yesterday I was listening lecture, I think somewhat, but about yesterday Bhavacharya Prabhu, about 4 Kumaras. They were unable to enter, but Lord came out. Okay, they saw it gate and came back.
Yeah.
So even though we have a desire, but if the desire did not convert to service mode, then it will create havoc, right?
Yeah.
You will push everybody out. Okay, I'm doing this. I want to go more, push, and then finally you'll fall down.
Yeah.
So instead of, my understanding, I don't know whether, please correct me, my understanding, because you told one point, nice one, the desire, Krishna convert to service. So there you create humbleness, right?
Yeah. I mean, the best desire is, what is it? Gopi Bharja Padakamalila Das, servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So best desire is to be the servant of the servant of the servant. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, for sharing that. Yeah.
No, I'm learning, Prabhu, because when I read Bhagavatam, it's completely different story. But when you go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, then you will surprise. Is going back, desiring also is a desire. Then I was like, oh my God. So
amazing, bro. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll end here. Manchakalvatarubhyasya Kripasinubhyo Vacha Paitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavaya. Antakoti Vaishnavaya Sarpana. All your experience.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Namaste.